I mean, beer has three enemies. It's oxygen, it's temperature, and it's light.
4 in me.
And, well, yeah.
Because I drink a
yeah,
lot
but
of beer.
it's a willful surrender.
They give up their life willingly.
Yeah.
Coming to you seemingly live from the 1885 tap room on Main Street in glorious downtown Simpsonville, South Carolina, I'm Russ Heaps, and welcome to this episode of Big John and Five. That's where I get my good buddy here, Big John Richards, to pick a beer. We sniff it, we sip it, we get bits about it. Sometimes we learn. Well, not sometimes. We always learn something about the brewery. Sometimes we do learn something about brewing history.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much anymore because John's very forgetful.
Yeah.
But having said all that, John, what are we doing?
We're doing a beer from Olde Hickory. I think we made it face the right direction.
Yeah. It's hard to tell because the back of the label looks...
Yeah. That label, it's a great label. The whole label is art.
Yeah.
Artistic.
Which you don't usually
Artistic.
find. Artistic.
Yeah. And it's fun. Olde Hickory's been good about that too. They're pushing 30 years old. I was just looking that up. 1994 they opened.
Wow.
Yeah. And they've been up there for a long time, brewing really good beer.
Up where?
Hickory, North Carolina, which is Western North Carolina, our side of the state.
Don't they make furniture and stuff up there?
They did.
Okay.
They did.
That's what I thought.
I think. Maybe I'm getting Hickory wrong too. Maybe Hickory's over further closer to High Point, over towards Greensboro side of things. I may be getting my geography wrong in my head too.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Russ will tell me. You'll see it on the bottom. The Big John was wrong.
If I do that every opportunity I can.
Yeah.
And Claxton goes off.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. So.
Anyway, we used to get. We didn't used to get any of it down here, but we used to have to go north, and there was a great bottle shop up in Asheville that, at least last I checked, was still there, called Brews and Ales, which is a great name. Bruising like you're a fighter. And so we used to make trips up across the border to get beers we couldn't get down here, and Olde Hickory was always one of the ones we'd go looking for. They make a big imperial stout every year called the Event Horizon, which is one of the best big stouts in the country. It's just so good. And they've done some cool aging things with it over the last few years too, aging it in different kinds of barrels.
I know that we have done at least one Olde Hickory before. You'd have to look for it because I don't even know what the style is.
I know for sure that we did the Ruby Lager at Borough when it was still open.
Okay. I remember Ruby Lager.
Yeah.
Yep.
One of their flagships that's really quite good.
So look on the Lager playlist and you'll find of theirs.
This one is their, or at least one of their barley wines, and we happen to get some down here because they've started distributing in South Carolina now. Mercifully, thank God. So this came down in 2020, and it's been in my cellar since. So this has got a little bit of age on it too. We just did another barley wine, and I wanted to do these two back to back because this one was a little bit more towards the English style too, and with a little bit of age on it. The last one we did was 10 years old. This one at 3 years old still has a little bit of age going on it, enough to knock the sharp edges off. But it's going to be fun once we get into it to talk about the differences between the two barley wines, having them back to back.
Yeah, and the one we did before was a Sierra Nevada Bigfoot.
Yep.
Circa 2013. It had been in the cellar for a while.
Oh yeah. This one,
Buddy's doing his job there.
Buddy does a great job.
He does.
When this thing came out, I was running that store up in Spartanburg, and this beer was just, I just lost my mind over this thing because of how the aroma on that's wonderful. I can smell it from over here. I haven't popped one of these in a while, so I'm really interested to see what actually goes on with this after a couple of years now. but I bought a handful of them to stick in my cellar and couldn't hold off for long. And this is the second to last bottle left in my cellar from this batch. And I'm so excited to try this, especially after just having had Bigfoot. Because Bigfoot's one of the progenitors, and then these guys are, everyone that's brewed a barley wine since then has looked back to Bigfoot on some way or another.
This sniffs like a barley wine.
Yeah.
To me, it's a lot of red fruit.
Yeah,
purple
this one.
fruit.
Yep,
Yeah.
this one's so much more than, and of course, this is more that English style, whereas the American style is going to have much heavier hopping rates. It's still a dark color like this more often than not, but it's got a much heavier hand, especially with the bittering hops. Whereas this, being a little bit more of the English style, is going to carry those fermentation flavors, the big fruit flavors that are like cherries, dates, raisins, figs, and some of that stuff. But you're still going to get those big toffee and caramel flavors, the big malt backbone of the thing to hold it all together.
I don't get anything out of it.
Well, you will when you taste it. Or I say that, but it's been a couple years.
What's the
Yeah,
ABV?
it smells like fruitcake. 12 and a half. I said I looked it all up, and I didn't actually look that up, but it's here on the bottle somewhere.
Normally I can rely on John.
Yeah. Oh, no. I'm way off. It's just in my brain the wrong way. 9.5. It's almost exactly the same.
It
Bigfoot's
says-
9.6. This says 9.58.
And this,
So-
but this sniffs much bigger.
Yes, it
Much
does.
bigger than this here in the
And,
back.
with the aging, you knock a lot of that aggressiveness off. And this is even softer than I remember it being when it was fresh.
So how long have you had this?
This was brewed on October 24 of 20. And so
So this is only 3 years as opposed to
it's just coming up on
10
3
years on the other.
Yeah.
Okay. So keep it a little longer is my advice.
But then again, barley wines can sit around in your cellar and you want them temperature controlled, but I've got mine sitting in a cabinet in my kitchen. So it just stays around 70, 72, 74 degrees. And that's not necessarily ideal. Ideal would be if it were staying closer to like 60. Because anytime you breach 70, you run the chance of a secondary fermentation beginning in the bottle. But stored in a cabinet that I never opened, back in a corner, back in the back, they're really well protected from light and from temperature changes.
Yeah, that's the big thing, is temperature changing and light.
Right. I mean, beer has three enemies. It's oxygen, it's temperature, and it's light.
4 in me.
And, well, yeah.
Because
I
I drink a
yeah,
lot
but
of beer.
that's a willful surrender.
They give up their life willingly.
Yeah. It's like the ultimate sacrifice for the cause.
Yes, exactly. Well, let's
Taste this thing. Yeah, let's do it.
Text Miss Lily.
Aroma's so good. I mean, it smells like good fruitcake, not like gas station fruitcake or, I don't know. Do gas stations sell fruitcake?
I can't imagine anybody else would. I
If
wouldn't.
you have good, real fruitcake,
I wouldn't hit a dog in the ass with a fruitcake.
oh my God, you're missing out, Russ.
This is a much smoother
Yeah.
flavor
Oh,
than I
man.
expected from sniffing it.
Yeah.
And I'm getting more toffee brown sugar out of
Yes.
it than I thought I would from
Yeah.
sniffing it. The fruit, I'm getting almost no fruit
On the palate?
on the palate.
Yeah. And it's the aroma and like the retronasal I've talked about, the talking over it and then using that as part of the sensory experience. I get the fruit back on that, but when it hits your tongue, it's brown sugar, it's toffee, it's
Yes.
caramelized
Yep.
everything.
Yep.
And it's so
It
smooth
surprised
and
me.
plenty sweet still.
Even though you said it, you promised it, you gave us a heads up. I was surprised,
Right?
Because all that dark fruit just goes it just
Goes
shrinks
away.
almost nothing.
Yeah.
Shrinks to almost nothing. And now it's all toffee
Yeah.
and brown sugar.
And I'm still, so again, as I'm talking over it and breathing over it, I'm getting more of that cherry coming back. And that's where the fruitcake thing comes in with the candied fruits, the candied cherries, and all the candied stuff that goes into making a fruitcake it's that kind of thing.
Wow, that is really
And
good.
man, I'm serious. That this beer it's a beer that when I think about it, my mouth starts watering. It's Pavlovian. You know, that just
Mine will from this point forward too.
It was so good, and it's holding up so well, and it harkens back to what I remember it being, but it's different now than it was 3 years ago when I first had it, and it's just such a remarkable beverage. And even though I am a big hops guy, and I love hoppy beer, and I love bitter beer, and I love West Coast IPA, and I'm probably more of a hophead than I am anything else, I tend toward the British barley wine style more than the American barley wine style, if I'm looking for barley wine. And again, the Bigfoot, and I keep waving over there because it's just right there.
Because it's there, and
right there.
it's calling to
It's
us.
right there.
It's calling to us. I have one over there.
I love that stuff, and I almost still drink it though as a double IPA when I'm looking for hops versus something like this that's sweeter and richer. And if you're sitting by a fire and it's cold outside or it's snowing and you're feeling good and you got a fire going and you got one of these in your hand, oh my goodness.
I can hardly wait to see what this is like 10 or 15 minutes from now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. When
When
these
it
things warm
warms
up
up
and
a
it
little bit.
opens. And you could do something like this and drop a chocolate in next to it or a truffle, you know, like that. And it's just, you'll never go back. You'll never go back.
Sir, thanks for sharing this, John.
It is my pleasure.
I salute you. So damn lucky. See you next time.